Okay, so I hope the audio here is clear. This was not a planned video, but I want to make it whilst it's on my mind. And I'm going to make this one very concise, just get straight to the point. I'm going to show you a photograph and a report from the Metro, which is a daily national newspaper here in the UK. It's a free newspaper paid for by advertisements, and it's usually found at bus stations, train stations, outside shops, and so on. Anyway, this is a photo, and hopefully it will be clear in the video. Okay, I'll hold that up again at the end of the video, but if you can't see it, basically it's a photograph of Prince Harry and his girlfriend Meghan Markle. Um, and they're sharing a kiss, like couples do. Now the angle of the photograph, it's behind a car, she's got her head down. The prince is obviously not aware of the camera, or if he is, this photograph certainly wouldn't imply that. It's clearly a private moment, right? That indicates strongly to me that it's a paparazzi photograph. Has the name beside it, Hug for Harry, James Watling. So whether James Watling is a paparazzo or not, I don't know. The report comes from Daniel Binns. Clearly, though, it's a personal photograph, and as far as I'm concerned, it shouldn't be in a national newspaper. I have very strong views on this. I've always hated the paparazzi, and I hate what they do. But the only way that they thrive is when national newspapers buy or endorse their photos. And bear in mind that Prince Harry's mother was hounded by these people, for a good part of her life. And I just feel disgusted that they can still do this, that they can still get away with sending these blatantly private, intrusive photographs into a national newspaper. I just don't. And then when the people try to argue it's in the public interest, go to hell. If that's your attitude, then you're an idiot. You're a blithering idiot. If you honestly think that a couple's private moment is in national interest, is in public interest, you are a blithering idiot who needs your head examined. I hope I am offending people with that one, because anyone who supports a paparazzi deserves to be offended. As far as I'm concerned, the paparazzi are criminals, they're stalkers, and they should be treated with the same contempt as any other criminal. I honestly think it should be illegal for national newspapers to buy or trade in clearly paparazzi photographs. I've no problem with red carpet photographs, I've no problems with official photographs or anything like that. Obviously, public figures are going to be photographed. But the whole nature of the paparazzi is to stalk people, is to ambush people, and in many cases put people in a situation where they fear for their safety. I'm not saying that's the case with this one, but it's some people say that's the price of fame, that you have a certain degree of, you have to sacrifice your privacy. I don't accept that. The way I see it is public figures need to accept that, yeah, there is going to be scrutiny. If if you're heir to the throne, well, actually, it's further down the line now, but if you're in a prominent position, obviously there's going to be a public interest in your life. But I take the view that everybody is deserves a certain degree of privacy. Everyone, unless they're breaking the law. Now, if Prince Harry was involved in some drug deal, that would be a different matter, because that would be photographic evidence of a crime taking place. That hasn't happened, by the way. I'm just giving it as an example. Um, so I see that as investigative journalism. That's very, very different from paparazzo stalking. And I just feel it really works me up, because not so much what the paparazzi do themselves, but the fact that national papers support them now. The Metro is very tabloid-esque. It's always been a yellow newspaper. It's always been involved in yellow journalism. So, I'm not overly surprised. But with everything that happened with phone hacking, and with the way that the tabloids are rightfully seen by a large proportion of the public, you would think that they would try to clean themselves up a bit. As far as I'm concerned, they're aiding and abetting criminals. Paparazzi shouldn't be called photographers, they shouldn't be called journalists, they should be called stalkers, because that is what they are. And how anyone could argue against that, I don't know how. Just look at their behaviour, look at their videos, look at the sort of aggressive way in which they thrust cameras into people's faces. Incidentally, since I'm on this subject, and I'll round up with this, some mainstream journalists start to behave like paparazzos, and they're not technically paparazzos, but they behave like them. Earlier this week, Robert Crick of the BBC shoved his camera into Jeremy Corbyn's face, then complained about when Jeremy Corbyn didn't take it well. You know, if you're going to act like a paparazzo, prepare to be treated like one. I don't much have time for Crick. I don't like his style. I don't like this thrusting cameras into people's faces. I don't even like going to a politician's home, you know, lingering outside the front door just to ram cameras in their face. By all means, hold them to account. By all means, ask tough questions. That's important. But not outside their house. I just don't accept there's a public interest there. I think it's their way of saying we can do what we want. We're the press. We're slime balls. We can do what we want. And it makes me sick, to be quite honest. Um, the tabloid press have so much to answer for. They're filthy, as far as I'm concerned. They're absolutely filthy. And I'm going off on a tangent now, but that's a contempt that I do have. What can I say? I'm just being honest. Um, if I was an editor of a national newspaper and a paparazzo approached me, I don't care how much he offered, I would not take it, because these papers all claim that they have a ethical code. As far as I'm concerned, that goes out the window the second you accept photos from stalkers. This isn't just about Prince Harry, it goes well beyond that. There have been a lot of public figures. In some cases, the children have been dragged into it. It's disgusting. It's totally irrelevant what you think of the individual people, because this is not a left wing right wing issue. It's nothing to do with what sort of person they are. It's entirely to do with the principle that is behind this, which is the right to privacy. Why is the right to privacy seen as less important than the illusion of press freedom? Press freedom is critical, but what angers me is that it is increasingly being used to justify paparazzos. That's not press freedom, that's stalking. And as for the blithering idiots that call it freedom of speech, it's not speech, it's not an opinion, it's an action. God, I hate these people. I really do. And I don't care how this comes across. Years down the line, oh, Nathan Hazlett said yes, this. Yes, I did. I hate them. I hate the paparazzi. I hate what they do. I think they are slimy, despicable, horrible little creatures who, in many cases, really do. And you know what's perverse? If people struck back, if they actually defend themselves, in other words, if you have paparazzos shoving their cameras in someone's face and then they fight back, especially if they've got children, then they present it like, you know, this actor or this singer or this sports person or this politician has an anger problem. You know, I challenge anyone who criticizes celebrities that lash out. You try it. You try having these people follow you around all day and keeping you cool. Most of the time they do, but they're only human. So yeah, rant over. I'll show you the photograph again in case you think I'm exaggerating. Look, you can clearly see she's got her head down. They're behind the car. That the body language strongly indicates that there is no, you know, there's no consent being given there. It's an invasion on a private moment. Pathetic.